that everybody is equal and deserves love, and it moves me to see things going in that direction. In time, we'll honor everybody, but amongst our first 6 honorees, there is only one woman, and we'll get everybody in there. But so for tonight, our next inductee will represent all of the women. Let's give it up for all the women who made San Diego music amazing. I spoke to Jamie Shadowlight yesterday. She says hello to everybody. She's sorry she couldn't be here. Hello, Jamie. Please welcome to present Sue Palmer to the San Diego Music Hall of Fame. All the way from listener-supported jazz radio, 88.3 KSDS, live from the campus of City College. Please welcome Claudia Russell to the stage.
This is so cool. This is cool. Thank you all for joining us tonight. I was very excited when Sue gave me a call and said, hey, are you free to do this thing? And I thought, honey, for you, anywhere, anytime, anything. Here's the thing. You don't decide to be a queen. You have to be born to be a queen. And Sue Palmer was born to be the queen of Boogie Woogie. She has a long list of accolades: the Jim Croce Award for Excellence and Dedication to Music, issued by Jim's widow, Ingrid Croce. Best self-produced CD from the Blues Foundation in Memphis. You pick that up for sophisticated ladies. If you don't own it, get it. Yes. And the city of San Diego proclaimed March 25th, 2008 as Sue Palmer Day. Yeah. She's received multiple San Diego Music Awards, including Best Blues Album for her solo piano album, After Hours. That's a timeless set that she recorded in a Rancho Santa Fe living room. I think it's appropriate that she received an award for that because it was the living room in her family's Ocean Beach home where young Sue Palmer found herself surrounded by music. The uncle who played the violin, the aunt who brought the piano to life, who lived with Sue until she was 15. She lived with Sue's family. She had an aunt who played alto saxophone in one of the all-women swing bands of the 30s and 40s. So you see where she gets it. At the Palmer house, everyone was encouraged to join in, even if it meant just playing spoons or clapping along. And when her mother said it was time for her to take some music lessons of some sort, Sue exclaimed, "Drums!" And the next day, she started piano lessons. Lucky for us. After graduating Point Loma High School in 1965, Sue went on to graduate from SDSU with a double major in English and political science. And as always, played a little bit of piano here and there. Her first gig earned her a whopping $10 when she played an event for the Women's Studies Department at San Diego State University. We talked about it, she laughed, and she said, I only knew 3 songs, so I just kept playing them over and over and over. And got paid anyway. As a young woman fresh out of college in 1968, Sue was energized by the women's movement. She was inspired by female musicians and band leaders, and when the guys didn't want to hire her because she didn't fit their cutesy or their sultry stereotypes, she stepped out and formed her own band. One of her earliest bands, Ms. B. Haven, started making the musical rounds in the 1970s, playing gay bars like The Club, which is now the Casbah. And that band was also the beginning of some of Sue's lifelong musical partnerships. Drummer Sharon Schufelt, trombonist April West. They were in that early band. They've been part of her bands for nearly 40 years. That says something about somebody. Her work with Preston Coleman's Tobacco Road is legendary in the San Diego music scene. She played with Preston for nearly 10 years when Candy Kane asked her to be the piano player for her band. It was a very crazy, very exciting, and very creative time. The band toured the world. They were to sold-out shows playing in France, Australia, Scandinavia, Greece, and Turkey, and of course all over the United States. It was a musical partnership that would last a decade and see numerous writing collaborations between Sue and Candy. Sue was also the musical director for Candy Kane's play Toughest Girl Alive that made its world premiere here in San Diego at the Moxie Theater. Sue's Motel Swing Orchestra made its debut in the year 2000, and it has been going strong ever since. Again, that says something about a band leader. This band's been together for 18 years in various forms. She works with some of San Diego's finest players. They bring authentic boogie-woogie and blues to listeners and dancers alike. And I can only imagine how many dance floors have been polished under the shoes of people dancing to Sue. Really, she's probably worn several of them down, I think. Her live shows are more than entertaining, though. Sue is also an educator, even when you don't realize that you're being educated. She digs deep. She digs deep into the originators of America's great jazz and blues music. She takes her time to play her respects to the history of the music.
Yeah.
One of her specialty shows, and one that I have had the privilege to present to audiences, is the history of women in jazz. And Sue shines the spotlight on women like Lil Hardin Armstrong and Victoria Spivey and Nellie Lutcher and the incomparable Hatta Brooks, one of the early boogie-woogie queens. She was a master. And in 2002, Sue brought Hatta to San Diego for a dynamic performance at Dizzy's. And it would turn out to be Hatta's next to last performance. So Sue gave people an opportunity to hear one of the greats. And that's one of the things that I think makes Sue an extraordinary band leader and a remarkable musician. She can certainly hold a spotlight on her own without any help. But Sue is more than happy to share that spotlight. And that's important. She has shared not just a stage, but she has shared the piano with many, many of the greats. Marcia Ball, Donia Oxford, Sonny Leland, Luann Barton, among others. She's about the music, she's about the fun, and the people who just can't sit still when that boogie starts. I am one of them. Even if you can't get up and dance, something in you always wiggles when Sue is at the keys.
That's right, sister.
There's integrity, there's honesty to Sue's music. As we like to say, she's the real deal. When her heavily jeweled hands hit the 88s, you're in for a ride. That left hand gets cooking, and before you know it, you're moving. As I said, she can rock the house, but then turn around and give you a rendition of a Duke Ellington ballad that'll bring tears to your eyes. And all throughout her career, she's kept her sense of humor. It's on stage from the big beehive look of the Candy Cane days to the spunk of her full marching band uniform, complete with hat and plume. If you haven't seen it, it's glorious. And it's authentic. She actually wrote to a high school and got one. Sue always gives you a show. She always gives you entertainment on the highest level, and through all the years, through all the miles she's traveled, all the audiences, she continues to call San Diego home, the place where she was born. She's supported local benefits and charities. She's nurtured young musicians. She hosted a radio show on Jazz 88.3 that featured local musicians. She's more than a gifted piano player. Sue is a champion. She's a champion of music history. She's a champion of equal rights. And she's a champion of this community and everyone who makes music in it. I have been very fortunate to work with her to present her at festivals and special events and private concerts and things like that. But even more so, in the time that I've been in San Diego, I have been fortunate to forge a friendship with Sue, one that's been very important to me. Her music has seen my family through some very dark times. And she herself has walked through cancer and come out on top.
Yeah!
Seriously. She currently works over 250 days a year, gigging. She loves without reserve. She laughs without apology. She is San Diego blues and boogie. Now, it's been a long time since Sue was playing spoons in the living room of a family home in Ocean Beach. And she continues to bring this classic American music to people all over the world, starting right here at home. She continues to bring people together through music. And to say she's a treasure is a ridiculous understatement for me. She is the queen of boogie woogie.
Yes, she is.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege for me to induct into the San Diego Music Hall of Fame the one and only Sue Palmer.
All right, I got it for Claudia Russell. That's the best introduction I've ever had, I have to say. She's a great DJ and has a great program, so I'm curious to this. Thank you so much. This is really very special. I'm extremely honored and really happy to have all of you here. There's some of my relatives, my cousin Gerald, who, and Lori that remember the family living rooms and were a big part of it. And I grew up here in Ocean Beach. My piano teacher was down on the little house on Pescadero and Sunset Cliffs. And the first time I ever heard boogie woogie was at the Baptist church here on Sunset Cliffs. So, you know, I really love Ocean Beach. I really love San Diego. And I'm honored to be included with all of these musicians, some of whom I'd never heard of, which gives you a idea of how the depth of the music world here in San Diego is. Because I've been around a long time and I know a lot of people, and there's some musicians that you're going to hear tonight that I'm hearing for the first time too. So, and I had the pleasure of working with Jack Timchin, who is one of our inductees, and also Lou Curtis was a giant inspiration. And I went to college with Virginia here. And anyway, it is one big happy family. And I love all of you guys. And, you know, it's like, thank you so much. And now I'm going to play, right? I get to play now? Yes.
You guys want to hear Sue and Sharon and Pete play? Are you sure? Right now? Yeah, let's do it. Why not? I have more funny things to say, sir. I'll give you your pot and your plaque later, okay? Does anybody else want a pot? Hit up Sharon Patsko, she's got you.
Okay, I'd like to introduce my longtime rhythm section here. Pete Harrison on the bass, and Sharon Schiffer on the drums.
Thank you, Sue. Please join us in welcoming to the San Diego Music Hall of Fame, Sue Palmer.